So you've retired. Congratulations. But now what? Well, a lot of people subscribe to that first year rule where it says the majority of your best retirement months will take place in that first year of retirement. So what should you be doing right now in that first year to be strategic and set the tone in the right way, both emotionally and financially? We'll tell you in this video. Welcome into Dollars with Dennis. I'm Ben George with Dennis Hoare. Good to see you again, Dennis. I know year one, you're off and running. I know that transition's a big one, but is it true that that first year is where you see a lot of the activity?
It is, absolutely, Ben. Good to see you today. First year of retirement, there's so many things to do, but really adjusting your financial picture, because you went from probably a paycheck that might be bigger, might not be bigger than your retirement income. But the biggest fear people have is that it's not going to be there. It's, my paycheck is always there. So can I rely on my retirement income? And in the first few years, we call them the go-go years, is while we're younger and healthier in retirement, we might want to go do some of the things we couldn't do while we were working. And we don't want to wait too long in retirement when our health might start declining. So we see a good bit of travel and excursions going on with people in their first year or two of retirement that may put an impact on their retirement savings. So you got to plan for that and have an idea of where you want to go and what those costs are going to be, or set a budget. If they're good at setting a budget, and we put that in the plan, and almost all of our clients that we do planning for will put in a travel budget or vacation budget, stuff like that. And it can be different. I have some clients that want to do a certain amount every year, and then every 3 or 4 years they want to do twice that amount so they can do a bigger trip and stuff like that. So we'll budget to try to accomplish the goals of the client to make sure that works in their retirement strategy.
Yeah, really is trying to learn, as you mentioned, to adjust financially. It's just trying to balance that overspending, underspending. Should I splurge some here? Do I need to pull back a little bit? It's an adjustment that a lot of people don't think is very significant probably when they make that transition to retirement, but it does take a lot of work.
Yeah, I had somebody just retire recently and found out that they weren't going to get their first check from their pension. They had a pension for another 4 to 6 weeks, and they said, "What should we do?" I said, "It was a great time to review your budget and see what, because if you know you're going to have less money next month, you might want to see what you can not do." And having a budget is critical to retirement planning all the time. But establish a sustainable income plan, and that's what our goal is. When we do a plan, we want to know where the money's coming from, what source we're getting it from, and will it last through retirement. So we're testing that nest egg to make sure that it is enough to make somebody comfortable in retirement. And that's an exercise that takes quite a bit of work, Ben, on both our part and the client's part, because they're having to go through things that they hadn't thought about before.
Yeah, that income plan, that withdrawal strategy, it's not just, hey, I'm just going to pull money out of my checking account when I need it here in retirement, right? I'm assuming you try to, you ideally have this in place before retirement, but if you're in year one and don't have it, you definitely need to make that a priority.
Yeah, you want to have it in place before, if possible. That's our goal, to do that. And then when you're in retirement, so the first year of retirement, my one rule is that husband and wife, if they're both working, they can't retire at the same time. They've both been working 40 plus hours a week, and then if they both retire at the same time, all of a sudden they have 40 or 50 hours together on top of what they're already together, and that could be a little scary. So I always think we should have 3 to 6 month buffer in there for people to create their own space and their own habits before the other one retires, if that's possible. And then while they're in that first year of retirement, they got to start pursuing a purpose. What are they going to do? Because retirement doesn't mean you quit living. You might have talents and resources that you can use, whether it's volunteering or donating your time. But there's tons of opportunities out there to help other people, other organizations with whatever skills you have, whether it's home repair and painting, stuff like that, or it's financial stuff. Lots of things you can give back for, but find a purpose that you can pursue and feel happy and comfortable about retirement. That'll help your retirement days be more fulfilling.
Yeah, no, that's obviously a big part of what y'all do at Faith 401k and money management is finding that purpose and identifying that. And just in your experience, Dennis, do you often see people not really know how that time's going to be filled when they first come in to meet with you, or do people kind of have a good idea or picture of what it will look like?
I think it's probably 50-50, but one of the comments that I get that after people have been retired a few years is that I don't know how we had time to work before because now we have this going on. The grandkids are here. We got this calendar, and they're amazed that they don't know how they fit it in before, and now it's there. So if they're living right and they're active, they will be fulfilled by that. And then when we talked in one of the last episodes about Medicare and the expenses go along with that. So you have to also take stock in your health. You want to prioritize your wellness. As you're not working, you're probably not quite as active as you were. Maybe you're more, but not most times you're not quite as active as you were when you're working. So you want to have a daily routine for whatever exercise means to you. A little bit or a lot. I mean, there's various levels of exercise. I'm not telling you to go join the Bengals downtown at their workout camp. But you can find something that whether it's walking or swimming or biking, something that will not only keep your health in check, but also take up some time and fill your day with different activities that are fun and fun to do. And here in Loveland, we have a bike trail that's pretty phenomenal. It's about 30 miles long, give or take, and you can go either direction. And lots of activities on the bike trail here and all around it. So find something that you can help yourself get some better exercise in retirement. Because the old adage, you don't want to sit down on the couch and curl up and die. That's not fun for anybody.
No, absolutely not. And again, having good health is the first step to being able to enjoy a long retirement, right? Doesn't matter if you have all the money in the world. If you don't have your health, what do you have left? So again, taking stock in your health is a big one. And then Dennis, the last one on the list here, this first year is just test drive your long-term plans, right? You can actually just test things out before you actually fully commit to a lifestyle in retirement.
For sure. And we talked one of the last episodes, downsizing. So you can explore downsizing. What does that mean? And wait till you retire to do that because you have more time to put into what that means to you and what you're doing. And it's really hard to think about downsizing and relocating, that kind of stuff while you're working. But some people might have the opportunity to go to a warmer climate in the wintertime and come back if they want to the Cincinnati area when it's warmer in the summertime. And I just talked to somebody the other day that wanted to do the opposite. They wanted to go Upper Peninsula, Michigan. I'm not sure why anybody wants to go there in the winter, but that's a thing that people can do. But when you're going into retirement, figure out where you want to be. And not every city has the same rent patterns and stuff like that. So find what will fit in your budget. Ideally, I have a client that goes to Florida 6 months of the year, and I said, how do you afford that, and where do you stay? He said, it's easy. I rent a tendominium, which I'd never heard of that. Tendominium is basically a double wide trailer. Does a 6 month lease on, and goes back to the same place, but he's made that part of his home there, and he's there in the winter and here in the summer. So
there you go. Whatever works for you, Dennis. I mean, it's your retirement. You want to do what you are happy about. But again, just kind of summing this up, as you enter retirement, these habits, these routines, these choices that you make early in retirement are really going to set the tone for the years ahead. And that's why you want to be intentional now and have a plan for that. And how much are you spending time with people in that first year, Dennis? Does it ramp up at all just to make sure things are on track, that you're kind of following up on these items? Or is it a kind of a similar workflow as previous years?
great question. So it ramps up a little bit before retirement. Usually that year before retirement, we ramp up our meetings times and stuff like that. And then we will check in as retirement is happening to see if we need to meet. But usually we want to be pretty well prepared. So anything that happens in that first year of retirement, we can deal with and the client can deal with. So it doesn't really, it's usually the ramp up is before they actually retire. And if need be, we will meet more times afterwards because there are surprises along the way and good and bad. So we want to be ready for them. but have a plan. I think everybody should have a retirement plan that spells out where your money's coming from, what you need to spend it on, and how long is it going to last.
Yep, those are the keys to having confidence in retirement. And you can begin that process by going to 401k.faith, setting up a time to meet with the team there at Faith 401k and Money Management there in Loveland, Ohio, and begin talking about some of these things. But be prepared. You don't want to wait until the first year of retirement to start talking through some of these things. So go ahead and act now if you're getting close, and make sure that you are in a good position moving forward. But we appreciate you watching this video, this episode of Dollars with Dennis. Please subscribe if you haven't done that as well. We'd appreciate that support. Like the video if you've enjoyed it, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks, Dennis.
Thanks, Ben. Have a good day.
Securities and investment advisory services offered through Osaic Wealth, Inc., member FINRA SIPC. Osaic Wealth is separately owned, and other entities and/or marketing names, products, or services referenced here are independent of Osaic Wealth.